Good evening and thanks for joining us. The Teen Challenge Recovery Center is moving into a new space. The outreach program that helps people deal with addiction recovery is now open to more patrons. As Mike Albanese reports, the new building will increase their effectiveness.
The Teen Challenge has been serving the Thunder Bay community through recovery since 2004. The program is designed to help 18-year-old or older males and females with a controlling addiction by using faith to turn their lives around. One example of accomplishment is Robbie Ahuja, who became a director for Teen Challenge after graduating the program.
I was dying. I was in and out of jails, lived a life of death and destruction, and in 2006 my daughter's grandma told me about Teen Challenge. I went through the program in British Columbia, and today, 8 years later, it completely transformed my life.
Ahuja is pleased to have the new Addiction Recovery Center on Syndicate open today since it improves their intake of new students. They were originally trying to find enough room to squeeze students into a 6-bedroom building, and now with the new place, they have more opportunities.
This just means we're able to do what we do better times 2. We're going to be able to expand to 10 men with the project of expanding to 16 down the road. We'll be able to have separate rooms and classrooms. We'll be able to centralize all of our counseling, our re-entry, our offices all into one building.
A current member of the program is Ben Peters, who came into the program with a life-controlling addiction of his own. Peters said his 10 months at the center so far have changed his perspective on almost everything, and he believes the center can help anyone.
To everybody, not only the teens, but anybody, it's a huge life experience and a learning experience, and you just get to do things that I never thought I'd be able to do.
Amongst the guests attending the opening ceremony today was Mayor Keith Hobbs, who had nothing but pride and great feeling about what he has seen from the center thus far.
It is awesome. You know, as a police officer, you see so many lost souls, and when you can see them being picked up and helped and, built into productive citizens, it really does your heart good.
The Teen Challenge hopes to continue making Thunder Bay and the people who inhabit it have a better, safer existence. Mike Albanese, TBT News.
Thunder Bay's Dease Pool is in such rough shape that city staff say only 2 options exist: decommission it or replace it. Administration has completed a comprehensive assessment of all its outdoor pools. The city concluded that most are in fair condition with the exception of Dease. There are 3 city-operated outdoor pools: Dease, Heath Park, and Widnall. The report that will go before council tomorrow says Heath Park is in need of repairs to its foundation. That's estimated to cost $280,000, and work will likely begin next spring before the pool opens. Dease, on the other hand, is in need of more than $1 million worth of repairs. The pool is more than 100 years old and it has numerous problems. Administration will recommend that planning to replace the pool should start now. A similar type of facility would cost more than $3 million. Demolition costs are estimated at about $180,000. Council will also get an update on speed radars along Dawson Road. Well, the Fort William Gardens also needs a fair bit of work, but nothing immediate, according to the city's general manager of facilities. A report on the condition of the 62-year-old building has just been completed. That's the first report in 5 years. The assessment comes while the city looks to hire a consultant to determine future uses for the gardens. 4 submissions were received to conduct that work. That's expected to wrap up by the end of January. Michael Smith says if any repairs are needed immediately, the work would be recommended to council.
I mean, it's just normal life cycle, things but there's nothing urgent that, the roof's going to cave in or anything like that. So the facility as it stands right now is usable, but we would certainly, and before we would recommend investing lots of dollars and cents into it, we would want to take a look at what the condition assessment says.
As Thunder Bay's largest indoor spectator facility, the Gardens has a rich history, but the city feels it no longer serves the needs of the region. On top of future uses, the consultants will also look at the potential site for redevelopment. The final recommendations must also deal with the future of the Fort William Curling Club. Thunder Bay's city manager says council will have to look at taking on additional debt to tackle a lengthy list of projects over the next 5 years. The list includes building brand new facilities as well as road and bridge work. So for our question of the day, we wanted to know if you thought the city should take on additional debt to move ahead with infrastructure projects.
I do agree with that, but it depends on how much it is it's going to be. And on top of that too, it would help a lot more people around, because look at East End and all that too. There's a lot of stuff that got flooded, so they have to fix that all up. So they should do it, but a certain amount, not like a lot, but enough amount to make it a lot better.
Depending on the circumstance and the condition of it, yeah. I think they should be responsible for. We live here, and I'm thinking they should take responsibility for what needs to get done.
As long as it's not too in debt, too much of a heavy debt, then that would be a good idea. It might improve in tourism.
I don't think it would hurt, because I mean this city has a lot of potential.
Well, if it helps tourism and it brings people to the city, yes.
The structure has been a part of Dryden's skyline for about a century now, and throughout the years it's changed ownership and shape several times. The Domtar mill celebrated 100 years of pulp production this past week. The Dryden Power and Timber Company operated the mill there in 1913. It was the first craft pulp mill in northwestern Ontario. 5 years later, the first paper-making machine was installed, and since then, technology and operating practices have changed dramatically. The pulp mill changed hands twice before becoming part of Domtar in 2007. Today, it produces over 328,000 tons of pulp annually. A community picnic was held last week to celebrate the milestone. Well, from collaboration in mental health services to collaboration in different cultures, a 3-day conference hosted in Kenora brought together people under the Treaty 3 jurisdiction. Both First Nations and non-First Nations people shared thoughts, ideas, and experiences that have benefited their communities by working together. Nate Jones was there.
A strong theme was prevalent throughout the 3-day conference. We are all in this together. Leaders from various communities called this a continuation of a conversation that began 140 years ago with the signing of the Treaty 3 document. It's the hope that by strengthening these relationships, economic prosperity and solutions to social issues will ensue.
It's really about sharing best practices and sharing strategies, as well as collaborating new ideas into moving forward. So some of the delegates here, I think, may not have been involved in processes yet. So this is an eye-opener for them on maybe tips and tricks for them to take home.
There are other benefits to working together that have already been shown in the township of Sioux Lookout. Through shared common interests, partnerships to build infrastructure and create jobs in the natural resource sector have fostered working relationships. Town Mayor Dennis Lenny says that we are all treaty people, and these initiatives are working within their communities.
Like right now, Lac Seul running the forest operations, which supplies wood for our mill in Hudson, which also supplies jobs for the First Nations people from Lac Seul. So right there is a good indication of why we're working together. Like, it's their wood, it's our mill. We hire their people, everything's good.
Lenny and the chief of the Lac Seul First Nation were speaking at the conference regarding the Friendship Accord that was signed between their communities last year. He would like to see even more First Nations communities sign the accord, and that's already beginning to happen. Slate Falls has already done so, and later on in October, the Cat Lake First Nation will follow suit. Chief Clifford Bull says the accord is benefiting both of their communities.
We've had a very excellent relationship with the municipality. They've come to our community, we've come to theirs. We do things together jointly, and we talk frequently on common goals.
The dialogue has been taking place, and it would seem this is only the beginning of many more new relationships. Nate Jones, TBT News.
Well, hundreds of Thunder Bay residents gathered today dressed in pink to run for family members, friends, and those who've been affected by breast cancer. It was the 22nd annual Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation CIBC Run for the Cure. Over 900 people showed up to support the cause, and almost everyone had some pink in their wardrobe. The crowd was full of people who've been affected by breast cancer, and there were even some survivors. Samantha Robinson has gone through some hardships, but now she's cancer-free. In almost 5 years, she's had 4 surgeries, including a double mastectomy, as well as chemo and reconstructive surgery. She says the biggest thing for people going through this is to have a support group.
Having that support group and knowing that even though these people might not be here to support me, but knowing that they're here supporting somebody, and I think that's really awesome because that's what people that are going through this need, is that support.
The event raised close to $120,000.